In my hometown, there was a nasty accident about 20 years ago on this curvy stretch of road heading out of town. It was homecoming weekend, and a group of teens was out joyriding after the team won the big game. It was foggy according to the news reports from that evening. You couldn't even see a car length ahead of you. There were 3 teens in the car, and they were headed out to a post-game celebration when the driver veered over the center line just slightly and didn't see the car barreling towards them in the other lane. They were hit head-on, and none of them survived. The parents, friends, and family members made memorial crosses and installed a bench with the team's name at the crash site. All these years later, those memorials are still standing. I have a personal experience with the area, and then I'll share my sister's experience as well. When I turned 16, my parents gave me permission to use their car on weekends, as long as my homework was done and my grades stayed in the A's and B's. This particular weekend, I was heading to the next town over to pick up my best friend Mike from his dad's house and bring him back to his mom's so we could play video games and drink way too much Mountain Dew, like we did every weekend. It was almost winter, so it got dark early, and it was already dark when I left to go get him. On our way back, just before the crash site, the car got a flat tire. Thankfully, I had parents who insisted I learn how to change a flat while I was learning to drive, so I knew what to do. I threw on the flashers and got the spare tire and jack out of the trunk. First things first, I better call Dad and tell him why the car is going to be late getting back, I thought to myself. Mike's job was to be the lookout for me and make sure the area was safe while I focused on the tire. I was just starting to get the spare on when Mike yelled, "Hey, are you okay?" I answered, yeah, why? He said, "No, not you, them," pointing at the 3 people on the side of the road just a ways up from us. "They look lost," Mike said. "Go see if they need to use our phone to call someone," I said. "Or tell them I can give them a ride back to town if they're headed that way." I figured a group of 3 people could either be super safe to give rides to or really stupid since there were only 2 of us. But I wasn't going to leave a group of kids our age in the dark on the side of the road either. A short while later, Mike came back. "Dude, the closer I got to them, the faster they started walking. And then they just disappeared," he said. "Maybe they were just scared to talk to a stranger. I don't know if I would unless I was in grave danger," I said. Spare on, the car was ready to go, so we loaded up and texted my dad, "Be home soon, spare is on." "If they need help, they'll probably flag us down when we pass them up here," I said. About 2 minutes later, I was up to speed on the highway when I had to slam on the brakes because the group of 3 suddenly darted onto the road in front of us. I almost hit them. In fact, at first, I was sure I took them out. Mike already had his door open, yelling, "Hey, what the heck?" But they were gone. Not a trace of anyone being around. No blood on the ground, no damage to my car. That's when I looked to the left and realized we were standing right in the same exact location of the crash. The bench and crosses were directly to the left of my driver's door. I'll never forget that night. The next story is my sister's. A few years later, my sister got her license and was given permission to drive to the football game that she was cheering that evening. It was a clear night, no fog, no bad weather, so my parents trusted she would make it back in one piece. She was allowed 1 friend to ride with her, so her best friend Krista was riding shotgun. The game was in the next town over, the same one my best friend's dad lived in. It was about 10 p.m. when her and Krista left the game. It ended at 9, and they always had to stay after for team photos and cleanup. As they were almost back to town, Krista saw someone on the side of the road, looking pretty beat up. My sister's a very compassionate, very caring person, and even though it was stupid to do, she slowed the car to the side of the road and they got out. Don't worry, we yelled at her for it later. especially being two young girls and it being late at night. "Hey, do you need help?" my sister asked. The person didn't say anything. They just pointed, shaking, towards the center of the road a few feet ahead. "Okay, is someone hurt over there? We can help," she said, grabbing Krista's hand and walking towards where the person was pointing. My sister looked over at Krista and whispered, "Just have 911 ready to call, just in case." But in that split second they were looking at each other, the person they were helping disappeared. "Hello?" Krista called out. "We want to help you. Come back out here." But no one came out, and when they got to the area the person was pointing to, there was nothing there. It was just the center of the road. They were about to turn around and head back to the car when Krista grabbed my sister's arm and whispered, "Now there's two of them." To the right, coming back towards the center of the road, where my sister and Krista were standing, were a teenage boy and a teenage girl, looking upset and scared. They both stopped, pointed at the center of the road, and then disappeared again. Krista and my sister waited about 10 minutes, but nothing else happened. No one came out, and they couldn't find any sign of anyone. So they headed back to the car, which was about a 5-minute walk at this point. Back in the car, as they approached the area they were just standing, that's when Krista yelled out, "Oh my God, Katie, the bench! It's that crash site. We were just standing in the exact area the car crossed over the center line." We all fully believe we saw the spirits of the teenagers during those incidents, and there are many more stories circulating in town about the same types of encounters. Wow, sounds like those teenagers are stuck reliving the accident. What a sad story. Hopefully someone can help them cross over so they don't have to relive it over and over. Thank you so much to you and your sister for sharing your experiences. If you have a paranormal story you would like to share for an upcoming video, email it to the address in the description below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Right now, I post new videos every day. And with that, see you tomorrow, friends.